Hello, everybody. This is Borbala Banto, CPA from Concierge CPAs, and this is March 20th, 2020. It's Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern. Just wanted to give you a couple of updates about what's going on. This has been the most intense week of my professional life, I think. Been doing this for a while, been with big firms, smaller firms. We went through a recession, but this week, as far as for a CPA firm, and I'm sure for a lot of the businesses that we serve, it has been one of the most intense ones. Things are changing regarding taxes, tax filings, tax due dates. Disaster loans are coming out. So just wanted to give you an update about what's going on and where we see our clients needing help, and so you might be able to reach out to your tax provider, your tax professional, or to us. I'm pretty sure everybody heard that the tax payment due date has been extended 90 days earlier this week, and just this morning the news came out that the tax filing due date is extended 90 days as well. So that's July 15th. I already started receiving emails saying, oh, so I don't have to bring in my stuff. It's okay if I do that in the summer. We always had extensions. So the 6 months extension to October 15th was available even before this whole apocalypse. So our stance is to tell clients, you know what, if you are impacted by the outbreak, then obviously take care of yourself, your family, your loved ones, go to work. We have clients who work in healthcare, like both spouses. Obviously, that the last thing in their mind is taxes. But otherwise, instead of just watching the news, instead of panicking, why don't we just get taxes done? I think the worst that can happen long term is that we are thinking about 2019 and dealing with 2019 numbers on July 15th. Or if we get the extension 6 months from that, then I don't know, next January, technically then the final due date would be January 15, 2021. Really, we want to talk about 2020 and what the current situation is as soon as possible. So what we are advising clients is, yes, if you don't have your 2019 bookkeeping done, which is like a very, very small portion of our clients, then obviously, and you have other stuff to do to help your business today, do that. Other than that, let's get taxes done for 19 and forget about them. Again, you can file and then you get a voucher from us or your tax prep person to pay later, but at least you filed. And this is another reason why you should file. Any type of governmental financial aid will be tied to tax returns filed. I just got off the phone with a client of mine who said, we were going through the business tax return. I said, okay, I will have this for your signature later today. And then he said, oh, and by the way, I started filling out the sba.gov/disaster application, and they're asking for me to check off if I filed my personal taxes. So I will need my personal taxes done for 19 by Monday as well. So just in case, anything can happen with your providers, just have it done. If you have the paperwork, just imagine, if this chaos continues, you might lose those papers. Who knows? You might move, between now and the end of the year. Let's just get it done and have it in the books. So that's one thing that I would suggest everybody. Just find your tax preparer, forget about 2019 as soon as you can. Now, I understand there are a lot of CPA firms that have not been set up to work remotely, and their clients have a hard time reaching them if they have people not working in the office, they're not open. Now, good thing with us is that the last couple of years, basically since we started, we have most of our clients out of state. So we're totally ready to work remotely. We've done it already. 2 of my employees out of the 6 employees are working from home. My brother and a couple of others were still coming in, but we could totally work from home. We do everything digitally, signing the tax returns, e-filing, so there is no stopping. And luckily, none of us have been affected by the outbreak. So that's about filing and paying. Again, you should not see any penalties if you owe on your 2019 personal taxes and you're gonna pay them later till July 15th. So that's the news. That's good for income tax and also on the federal level. Now we are waiting for the state level, for the state tax boards to follow the federal. So even with the filing, actually, if the state that you live in does not follow the IRS, then you still have to file either an extension or your tax return by April 15th. What about local? Again, hopefully they are gonna file suit and then and they're gonna extend as well. But if they don't, you still have to do those. Also, I got a question about payroll taxes. Nothing of this extension applies to payroll taxes. You still have to pay, and if you can only pay one bill, I would suggest just pay your payroll taxes. The penalties and the criminal nature of not paying trust-related taxes is really bad. So just make sure that you can pay your payroll taxes. That's about the tax deadlines. Now, most of the questions that we got this week were about the immediate financial triage that a business can do. As you know, we serve as fractional CFOs to a lot of businesses. So all week, instead of basically working on tax returns, we fielded phone calls from our clients and try to put a plan into place of how they can save their business. Now, because of the nature of the clients we work with, there's a very small percentage of our clients that have been affected greatly till now. But there are some. One I talked to laid off 20 employees, the other one another like 18, 19 employees. So if you are in this crisis that you really got affected, you shut down basically by the outbreak, then most likely you already did layoffs and terminations. I was on a call where the question came up if a business sent home older employees just for the fear of the outbreak, then is that considered layoff? Are they eligible for unemployment? What's going on? And then also got a question of if somebody had part-time employees, if they laid them off, can they get unemployment? In Ohio, I can talk to Ohio. Yes, even if they were not full-time, they can get unemployment. And we sent out an email with the Ohio links to the unemployment agency. I just heard on a call that 3 weeks ago, there were like 1,500 applications a week. Last week, there were 15,000, and this week there are 45,000. So obviously, every state's unemployment agency is bombarded by these applications, so we don't know how these processing the applications will take place. So if you need any help about giving information to your employees, let us know. So that's about the layoffs. Cash flow. This is the biggest thing that we talked about this week with most of our clients, where we serve as fractional CFOs. Now, just as a background, we've been preaching these things for years, right? So every client that we serve as fractional CFO knows that we've been talking about budget, we're talking about reserves, we talked about having at least 3 months of working capital, 3 months of expenses, especially the basic expenses to have on reserve. So this is not new. With the very strong economy that we experienced the last couple of years, I feel that a lot of companies still forgot about this. Although most of the companies that I talked to this week, they do have reserves. Like this morning, I talked to a young entrepreneur we calculated 6.1 months worth of reserves in a savings account. So again, if she does not get any income in for 6 months, she can still pay all her bills. So that's something like a good situation to be in. Other than if you are not there, critical payments that you have to make, like rent and payroll, should be the ones that would take priority. I would assume that most of the things like just regular maintenance or expansions, something that is not that essential, can be cut. Usually we put together a list of what are fixed and variable expenses to see, what COGS related, cost of goods sold related expenses that you still need to make. So just to keep yourself in business. Revenue forecasting is also like who is affected out of your clients in your accounts receivable that most likely is not going to pay you. Again, stuff that, I'm preaching to the choir, but stuff that we've been preaching so much of. Can you put your clients' invoices on auto pay? Can you get a retainer so that you would not have accounts receivable, or you would just have it automatically charged on credit cards? And I'm talking more about white collar professional clients. So that's something that just came up this week so many times that you've been working on this. That's the plan. Is that something that you can start now, or how are you doing with that? Also, one thing that came up a couple of times this week is that what's happening this week, it might be totally different than what's going to happen next week. So I just heard that Governor of Pennsylvania said 2 days ago that he's not going to shut down the state. He promised, and then 2 days later, it's like, I have to shut down the state. So things are just unfolding so quickly that we don't know, what's going to happen. But we can reassess what's going on every week and just go from there. I really personally, I do not expect this to take longer than 2-3 months. Now, the president was talking about July, August, and I know even if everybody goes back to work and everything will go back to normal next week, we would still feel the impact of this. And it's most of it is, I believe, is just the state of mind, the panic or the fear, the consumer confidence. So that's, again, we cannot go back to normal as a business, but we have stuff, that we can do. So let's think about, what do you need to pay this week? What are those costs that you can cut this week? And so another guru told me that you don't want to trash your credit over this. Don't stop paying your minimums at least on your credit cards. Then another guru today told me don't worry about it. Just if you have a line of credit, take basically all the money out of the line of credit. Make sure that it's sitting in another bank in a reserve. You might need it. I also heard people saying, have some cash. The banks, the bank lobbies are closed, so have some cash on hand just in case if something is going on with online banking. It is a good time to reassess marketing and processes, and the most successful companies will do just that. I heard marketing costs, online advertising costs, are going down. There's just inevitably a percentage of all the market and percentage of your competitors who shut down and already have the panic mindset, the negativity, and they're going to shut down, and this market situation will just totally eliminate them. So we've seen this in the recession, 10 years ago, and I really believe that some people who just give up, they're gonna be out of business soon. So what are those processes? What are those marketing techniques that you can deploy? That's what I'm telling all my clients to think about. Last night I've seen this ad on Facebook for a virus survival kit. So this guy put together this delivery box with a cake, couple of steaks, couple of burgers, some bread, and 2 rolls of toilet paper. And he was selling them for $65 with delivery to your doorstep. And when I saw, the ad, by the time it was a link saying I'm sold out. So there's always, in every type of economy, there are winners and there are people who are going to be eliminated. So my question to my clients this week, my business clients this week, is how can we not just survive this, but actually even by the end of the year grow? That was the question I asked my client this morning on a CFO call. We still have 9 months after March, how can we, if we lose clients, replace them and then grow so we can still be way profitable than last year. And I really believe it's doable. It might require, as always, some creative minds, some changing. It changes the hardest for everybody. Let's start thinking about that. If nothing else, assess how many months worth of cash reserve do you have. You want to reserve everything you can. And we talked about 3 months. Now it's like, how long will your cash last? We heard about student loans forbearance. Again, do you have to pay your student loans if it's like a bigger amount? Is this something that you don't have to use cash for? Some 0% loans are coming down the pipeline right now. And be careful of drawing on line of credits and home equity line of credits, credit cards. We still have to pay them back, right? So if you don't need it, for all my clients who do have reserves, and even the zero ones, by the time you get them, it's going to be 3.5% at least. So if you don't need them, then why incur the debt? Or is that something that you might need it so you can get it now? Just make that decision. The SBA disaster loan, I believe 43 states already accessed it. The rest is coming soon. Every hour, basically, this changes. I think Ohio was added last night. So all 50 states are going to be on it. Now, a couple of things that you will need to access these loans is 2 years worth of business tax return and personal tax return filed. So this is the reason why we're still busy, even with the deadlines. You do have to give them those tax returns. Again, hopefully you have all your accounting information done, and then you can have your taxes prepared. You will need up-to-date, year-to-date financial statements, income statement, balance sheet. Again, hopefully you do have a monthly bookkeeping, accounting done, so you can do at least 2 months. Like if you're gonna apply in April, basically you're gonna ask for 3 months of financial statements, income statement and balance sheet. And also just think about why you need it. What are those costs that either you choose to pay to payroll, or what is that disaster, how this disaster affected you. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? Tax returns, financial statements, bank statements. So you will need, I hear 3 months worth of bank statements, but that's the easiest to get. You do have, we should all have a continuity plan. So what is the 2-week plan? What is the 2-month plan? Obviously, we should, again, this is something that we should, even in the good times, have, but there are just so many clients when it's good times, they don't think about it. So what is 2-week, 2 month, 2-year plan? How can we cut costs? How we can increase revenues? There are a couple of business types that actually they see increased revenues. I heard of somebody who got a contract from the government to produce these kits, test kits. I think they're busier than ever. So hopefully, many of you are in that category. Key relationships. Most of our clients are white collar professionals. They're consultants, they're lawyers. And one thing about our products is that we're basically selling our time. A store, if they don't sell their products right now, they can store it. They have it in an inventory, in storage. After all this is done, they're able to sell it. Law firms, consultants, CPA firms, we cannot sell the time that has passed. So it's very important for anybody who doesn't have time, who doesn't have client work right now. What can I do not to lose this time? How can I form or hash these key relationships with people who refer me work, think about new niches, new service items. That's something that the current economy needs that I can do. So instead of just listening to the news all day, which I have to tell you, like for a day or two, I was working on tax returns, I was listening on some type of, YouTube a press conference on the side. And after a while I said, like, I cannot do this. This doesn't help me. I have to be in that percentage of the population who can see through this. I have full empathy to anybody who was affected. Obviously, I have 4 kids at home that I need to homeschool. My husband is working from home. Half of my staff is working from home. So I have empathy. My parents who live with me, they are almost 70. So everybody got affected. But we do know, and business people know from history, that the recession, depression, every situation has winners and has biggest losers. For me or for my clients, the biggest loser would be if we have to close the business over this. Again, it's inevitable that's gonna happen for some, but I know that in every downturn there are people who are getting out better and stronger. And I'm not thinking about price gouging and stuff like that. Just very ethically staying the course, being creative, come up with those services, be relevant to your current clients and to the current situation. So how can I do that? If somebody who's already gave up and closed, a client of mine, a friend of mine, emailed me this morning, and she's a paralegal at a downtown Cleveland firm, and she said she got laid off. Now I'm thinking of those partners of those law firms. Is it really like the first week you have to lay off people? Couldn't she do something else? Even if that's just getting ready to serve in a different niche or do marketing or do something. So I would like to be on all my clients. I'm advising them to just start brainstorming about that. And luckily a good number of them, they're using us to do that together. Somebody told me this week that you should treat every dollar like it's your last dollar. Just keep that in mind. And what else? This is the time to use sick time. Obviously, if you work from home and you're sick, you should just be sick, and you should not work. You should take sick time. Now, we did have the new Family First Act that's gonna start and be effective April 2nd. You should really talk to your lawyer about this. It's not like I'm gonna give you legal advice, but most of my clients will not be affected by this new law. That's the only thing that I can say about it. People who need to stay home and take care of somebody like a family member, they can access this new law. And also if they are required themselves are sick and not just to take care of others. Most what's in this new Family First Law Act is for employers who have more than 50 employees anyways. So if you're in that situation, like most of our clients, as I said, are not, but just make sure that you check with your lawyer. The website that we sent out in an email is sba.gov/disaster. Google them, check it out if something that you can use. What else? I did mention that make sure that you pay payroll taxes. We heard some payroll tax holidays, and actually this Family First Act is tied to some payroll relief when you pay people on sick leave like that, and their payroll taxes. It does not so far apply to just regular payroll taxes. So you still make sure that if you pay people, pay the payroll taxes and don't incur the 2% per month penalties and interest. Build your own board of advisors. We've been preaching this for a long time, but even if you officially don't have a board of advisors, other people who are not that busy, why don't you hit them up on Zoom, on GoToMeeting, and just share what's going on with you, other business people that you trust and like, so they can give you some strategic advice. Your banker, your business coaches are a good place. Hopefully your CPAs, if they're acting as your business advisors as well, or tax advisors. Again, I've heard from people who have a huge influx of new clients, so they need a plan how to deliver those services or how they make those goods. So it can go either way. I don't know if you have any current questions, Les? I think the first thing, and I think most people say it, is just don't panic, and let's try to make the best out of this. Don't panic. Keep healthy and safe. CPAs who deal with numbers and money, basically just money, it's a lot of times it feels just like numbers to us. But at the end of the day, our health is the most important thing. We can rebuild, and the most successful business owners in the history all experience bankruptcy. Not that I would like to wish that on anybody, but just like the saying goes, if it doesn't kill you, it's gonna make you stronger. I really believe is that, again, as I mentioned, a lot of things that we've been preaching all along as CFOs for our clients will hit actually, and they will just take it more seriously after this. So let's see how we can get the best out of the situation, and be very nice to everybody we talk to, have empathy, but put your family and your business first. Not before your health, but maybe second. So you can still serve your employees and your families. That's why we are all in business for, to be able to serve these people, and their livelihood depends on us. So every situation can be viewed with different set of eyes. A lot of times when clients come to me, and I tell them how I see the situation, they say oh my goodness, I never thought about it that way. So make sure that you get a second set of eyes on your situation and what you can do in your current situation, and just communicate to your employees, communicate to your vendors that you might not be paying, communicate to your clients, and really this should not take that long. I really don't believe it's going to be like the recession about 10-12 years ago. So we're going to keep continuing to do, hopefully, if we are still here, the Friday Facebook Lives. Don't forget to email me if you have any questions, borbala@conciergecpas.com. Also, you can leave, if it's not a sensitive question, you can leave messages or questions below, or just email us. You can find my email also on my website, conciergecpas.com. If you are one of our clients, we want to talk to you. If you're one of those that we did not call yet, but mostly we did, then just let us know. We are here to serve you. Until next week, bye-bye.